Hello everyone, CoinHound here. On the screen before you, you see the box of nickel rolls that I picked up today from my local bank. I am starting a new type of stacking. So this afternoon on my way home from work, I went into my local bank and I asked the teller, did they have any nickel rolls for sale? And she said, yes, they did. And she pointed over to the side of her desk there where they had a few rolls in a little container, along with a couple rolls of quarters and other things. And I said, no. I said, I'm actually interested in buying a bunch of nickel rolls, like a box. And can I order those here? And she wasn't sure. And she said, I'm going to have to go ask. And she went over to one of the other tellers, I guess a more senior teller, and asked him about it, and he came over to me, and he noted to me that was a fairly unusual request, and was this a one-time thing, or was it going to be a regular thing? And I told him it was going to be a one-time thing, and he said okay, and I guess he gave her the go-ahead to go ahead and sell me a box that they had on hand, and so I paid $100, and I got the box before you on the screen. She asked me if I owned a store, if I was a retailer or something. I guess she was curious as to why I wanted a box of nickels. And I told her I was a coin collector. Anyways, why did I buy this box? And why am I talking about beginning a new type of stacking? Well, the story started over on another YouTube channel, Son of a Silver Stacker. And if you're not familiar with his channel, I recommend that you go over and check him out. He's got an outstanding channel, provides a lot of U.S. Mint-related news, coin collecting information, occasionally some general news items, and very well-done content. And it was one of his videos that sparked this momentary inspiration in me. And it was back on around February 23rd, maybe. And it's this video here. Could the U.S. Mint stop minting pennies and nickels? I'm going to link to this video in my description. I think it's a good watch, and I recommend you check it out. But basically, the content of the video is exploring the increasing prices on some of the metals being used in U.S. Mint coins. And obviously, if you've been following the news at all, you're aware that there's all kinds of stuff going on in the world, and commodities prices of all different types have been increasing fairly rapidly in recent months. And one of those commodities is nickel. So what Son of a Silver Stacker notes in this video is basically that the melt value of a nickel made by the U.S. Mint in metal is worth more than the 5 cents face value of the nickel. So basically, every time the U.S. Mint makes a nickel, it's losing money. And his prediction is that at some point here, it seems likely that the U.S. Mint will stop making nickels. And if you're not aware of it, the nickel is not made entirely of nickel. Apparently, it's 75% copper and 25% nickel. I'm going to pull up a website here that Son of a Silver Stacker introduced me to, coinamps.com, and it has calculators for the metal value of various coins. And if you look at the U.S. nickel melt value, you go down here and it will calculate it out for you. You can see there it has the update. I'm going to hit update here. There you go. The updated nickel price is $17.32 a pound. Copper is $4.59 a pound. And you can enter in the amount of nickels that you have and get a melt value. So I basically just bought 50 rolls, and over here we do have total rolls entry. So a box has 50 rolls, basically 2,000 nickels, and that's what I got. And when I calculate it in, the melt value is $171.40. I paid $100 for those nickels today. So in a way, I just got a return of 71% the moment I paid for that box and it was handed to me. Now, if only it was that simple, okay? Unfortunately, that $71 that's extra is not really accessible to me right now. It's against the law to go out and melt nickels, so it's not like I can take them to a scrapyard and they can melt them and give me $171 for them. However, the gamble that I'm taking here, and I think it's a fairly risk-free gamble, is that by putting these aside, putting them into my deep stack, when you look at the value here, if the U.S. Mint does indeed change the composition of the nickel to a less expensive mix of metals and sends those nickels into circulation, now you're going to have basically two different types of nickels. You're going to have a nickel with a melt value that is more than its face value, and then you're going to have a nickel that will likely have a melt value that is significantly less than its face value. Now, I believe it was Son of a Silver Stacker who mentioned something called Gresham's Law, which plays into this, and I apologize if it wasn't him. It might have been another YouTuber, but I'm pretty sure it was him. And so I decided to look up this Gresham's Law and see what it was all about. And it's pretty interesting. Here on Investopedia, I guess William Gresham lived back in the 1500s. And the basic idea is that legally overvalued currency will drive legally undervalued currency out of circulation. Now, that's kind of complicated wording, but let's use the example from Gresham's time that helps us understand. It says here, the minting of coins provides the most basic example of Gresham's law applied. In fact, the law's namesake, Sir Thomas Gresham, was referring to gold and silver coins in his relevant writing. Gresham lived from 1519 to 1579, working as a financier serving the Queen and later founding the Royal Exchange of the City of London. Henry VIII had changed the composition of the English shilling, replacing a substantial portion of the silver with base metals. Gresham's consultations with the Queen explained that people were aware of the change and began separating the English shilling coins based on their production dates to hoard the coins with more silver, which when melted down were worth more than their face value. Gresham observed that the bad money was driving out the good money from circulation. So the money that was overvalued, that in reality had less value, stayed in circulation. The money that was undervalued, in reality had more value, was pulled out. Now, this is exactly what has happened with our silver-based coins. That back in the 60s, when they went away from silver coins, suddenly you have two different types of coins in circulation. And one of them has a value that's worth more than the face value, and the other ones didn't. So people began pulling the more valuable coins out of circulation. And they created a whole different market and circulation of silver-based coins known as junk silver or constitutional silver, in which people are basically selling and buying and trading these back and forth at a price that corresponds to their silver value. And I haven't looked up the numbers lately, but for example, recently I think it was 20 times face value, so a silver dime would be worth $2. All right. So my thought here is perhaps something like that will happen with nickels. All right. If they introduce a new composition nickel that has a lower melt value, then people may start pulling the more valuable nickels out of circulation. And eventually, maybe those will become something that get traded back and forth between people at some sort of an elevated price. So why am I viewing this as stacking? Well, I'm viewing it as a wealth preserver to a certain extent, maybe not as strong a wealth preserver as silver and gold by any means. But basically, the way I see it is if I hang on to these and they eventually start trading at something related to their melt value, then these nickels could be worth 2, 3, 4 times their face value down the road at some point. And that would offset the deflation of the money that's been occurring over time. Worst case scenario, if none of that happens, I still have a bunch of nickels that are worth 5 cents. It seems like a relatively no-risk prospect, all right? Instead of having my money in paper bills, I'll just keep it in nickels and put it off to the side. Maybe I get that jump up in value later on. Maybe I don't. But I'm pretty confident it's going to happen, though. And so that's the plan. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the box. I've never picked up a coin box of rolls before, so this is kind of a new thing for me. So here's the nickel box that I picked up. As I said, first box I've ever gotten. It is pretty darn heavy. Was a little surprised at that, but I guess it makes sense. So I popped open it here, and we have all the nickels. And we'll bring this over to take a look. And this is kind of a really neat sight. Don't think I've ever had so many rolls of coins in front of me. And in looking at them, they are in varied condition, not surprisingly. Some in better condition than others. I'll just pull out one roll here. So you have $2 a roll, so that's 40 nickels. You have 50 rolls, so that's $100 worth. 2,000 nickels. All right. So there you are. Now, I am not a hardcore coin collector, so I imagine there's probably some people that would go through these looking for specific nickels or things of that nature. But I don't plan on doing that. I'm just going to go ahead and put this away somewhere safe, and I'm just going to leave it and see how things go over time. It is possible I might try to pick up one more box and just have 2 boxes and put those away. I don't think I would get any more beyond that. And just see what happens over time. And maybe someday I can sell these on eBay for a nice little profit. And as I said, of course, if I can't, well, they're still worth 5 cents a coin. Anyways, so that's the video for today. I hope you found it interesting. Go ahead, check out Son of a Silver Stacker's channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my content. And that's all for now. I hope you have a great day, a great evening. This is CoinHound signing out.